Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the 8th grade concept of slope and y-intercept. This is standard 8.4C in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 34 off the 2021 released STAAR test. If you have not done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. So we have a linear function here, we have it graphed for us, and we are simply looking for the slope in decimal form. So could be a whole number. If it's decimal, we obviously are going to use decimals rather than fractions because we can't do fractions on our free response on the bubble our answer into the free response of the answer document. So what is the slope? Well, most of us have probably memorized the slope-intercept form when we're looking at linear equations. We are going to use the slope-intercept form. If we are interested, right, we're not necessarily looking for the y-intercept here, but that's what this b is. B is the y-intercept. So that means if x equals 0, so if x equals 0, y equals, well, x is 0 right here on this y-axis, and you can visually see it. And it's right there, it's -2. All right, so my y-intercept is going to be -2. So if I wanted to kind of start building this equation, I would say y equals mx, I would say -2. Because that's where my y-intercept is. Now, my slope, that's what we're really looking for. That's what we've got to find in decimal form. So slope, remember, is rise over run. That means we're looking at the change in y, how the line rises or falls, over the change in x, how the line runs from side to side, how quickly it rises and how quickly it moves from side to side. And so that's just going to take two different y coordinates, put that in the numerator, we're going to subtract them. Two different x coordinates, put that in the denominator, subtract them, and that's it. And we can already tell that we always go left to right. It is going to be a positive because it's rising. If it's moving down kind of like this, that would be a negative. But in this case, it's rising, so it's going to be a positive. So let's look at let's just make this our x1 and our y1. Let's make this our x2 and our y2. And it really doesn't matter if we flip those, we'd get the exact same answer. So our y2 is going to be 1 minus, and then my y1 is -5. And that happens quite a bit. So you just kind of put the parentheses there to separate them. And then we've got 6 minus, and then we got -6. All right. So the two negatives make a positive, so really it's just 1 plus 5 equals 6. Two negatives make a positive, and that's just going to be 6 plus 6 equals 12, so 6/12. We'll deal with that in decimal form in just a moment. I keep saying if you flip those, it doesn't really matter. Well, let's prove it. What happens if we do this -5 first? -5 minus, and then my second y is 1, over -6 minus my second x right there is going to be 6. Well, look what I get now. -6 over -12. We've got the two negatives. They cancel each other out to make positive, and voila, you've got 6/12. So 6/12 reduces to 1/2, but we need a decimal form, so that's all we need. We need 0.5, but we need to put it in our bubble document here, free response. So this is what you're going to get. You're going to get a really thin column with no bubbles. That's just your decimal. You get 2 spots to the right. We will just need one of those. You got 4 spots to the left. You also have a positive and negative to the far left. You don't really need either of those. Everything is assumed to be positive. Technically, all you need is that 5 right there, and you'll be correct. If you really want to, it will not be incorrect if you put that 0 up there as well. Either of those work, 0.5.